There is a creeping anxiety defining a lot of young people today. It's the feeling that what society hands down is contrived and stage managed, and that skepticism is justified. Artificial intelligence has removed the old sense of permanence, leaving us with a world that no longer feels recognizable. The standard promises of the American dream, a secure job, financial stability, a home of your own, are increasingly difficult to attain. The standard path simply does not work the way it used to. When those external promises fail, the focus shifts. We stop looking for validation in the systems handed to us and start looking for something closer to the truth. It's easy to look backward and assume people from the past possessed some intrinsic authenticity that our modern generation lacks, but that is a myth. Take the First World War. We remember its legacy through the lens of Victorian masculinity, when young men were eager to prove their bravery and manhood. That romantic imagination was gutted by industrialized slaughter. These men walked into a technology of killing that had advanced far beyond their understanding. For those who survived the trenches, the tragedy compounded. They emerged from the war only to stumble into the global devastation of the Spanish flu. The narrative around the Second World War is similar. Mass media continuously celebrates the greatest generation, portraying a cohort motivated almost entirely by patriotic fervor. Yet many volunteers joined the fight simply because it offered an escape from the economic banality and massive struggle of the Depression era. The past wasn't more authentic than the present. It was just a stage managed, filled with people navigating their own set of illusions and burdens. Curious, deliberate. If history is stage managed and the promises of modern society are broken, where do you find a true foundation to stand on? The answer requires a complete shift in perspective. Authentic values are never invented by society to help you cope. They are already present within you, waiting to be revealed. This process of revelation starts with a terrifyingly simple question: what do I stand for? If your immediate answer is, I don't know, that is perfectly acceptable. Admitting you don't know is the very first act of radical honesty required to strip away artificial beliefs. The answers are already there, waiting to be unlocked. You reach them through dialogue with yourself, using a reading list, reflection, and a notebook. The first principle: write daily. By putting thoughts on paper, you gradually see what matters, and hidden categories of your identity surface. The second principle: absolute truthfulness. Never lie. This practice forces you to drop societal masks and pretenses, exposing the real person beneath. This rigorous internal dialogue demands that you accept your personal imperfections, rather than hiding them behind a carefully manufactured image. Sticking to this daily practice is the only way to arrive at a deeper level of self-awareness. It is how you finally recognize your genuine uniqueness. Reaching this state of authenticity is especially vital now. 50 years ago, economic success was comparatively easy to attain. In the post-war era, working-class security and a home were accessible to almost anyone willing to work. Today's landscape demands far more. Economic stability is still possible, but it requires innovation, extreme adaptability, and significantly greater effort just to survive. Beyond the economics, there is a spiritual challenge: the necessity of understanding your place in the cosmos. Whether you find that meaning in God, Gaia, or the universe itself, you need a larger relationship. The absence of that connection naturally produces a void, and an empty void is quickly filled with fear, loneliness, and despair. Overcoming this immense economic barrier and spiritual vacuum requires courage. You have to be willing to actively engage in the fight for your own life. William Shakespeare left us with a definitive directive for this. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. The psychologist Carl Jung framed the reward of this state perfectly. He noted that the greatest privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. An authentic person still actively seeks self-improvement. You will still want better physical fitness, a deeper education, and career success. But now you build those goals upon a firm foundation of truth, rather than the expectations of society. In a world filled with arrogance and deception, authenticity is a rare achievement. Reject the artificial. Live your life in a state of wonder and imagination, and let your truth be revealed.